On general examination, the patient is moderately built and poorly nourished, afebrile, nails show pallor, no cyanosis or clubbing, tongue shows marked pallor, no aphthous ulcer, sclera shows no icterus, no edema, no petechial hemorrhages. When is pallor associated with splenomegaly? In hemolytic anemias, leukemias, hypersplenism and chronic malaria. Can it occur in aplastic anemia? Only if some associated infection causes splenomegaly, such as malaria, Epstein-Barr virus infection or infectious mononucleosis. Otherwise, splenomegaly is not a feature of aplastic anemia. What is hypersplenism? Hypersplenism is a condition characterized by destruction of all formed elements in the blood, that is RBCs, WBCs and platelets, due to enlargement of the spleen. The criteria for diagnosis of hypersplenism are: number 1, anemia, leukopenia and thrombocytopenia, either singly or in combination. Number 2, a large splenomegaly. And number 3, normal or hypercellular bone marrow. The last criterion is that the blood abnormality should return to normal after splenectomy, which will prove that the spleen was destroying the blood cells. Why does the spleen destroy the blood cells? There is abnormal sequestration of the cells in splenic pulp, where the blood cells are phagocytosed and destroyed. What are the complications of hypersplenism? Severe anemia, repeated or fulminant infections due to neutropenia, and spontaneous bleeding due to thrombocytopenia. Proceed. The vital signs are normal. Pulse is 80 per minute, regular, good volume and normal character, equal on both the sides. Blood pressure is 120 by 80 millimeters of mercury in the right arm in supine position. Respiratory rate is 20 per minute and jugular venous pressure is normal. On examination of the abdomen, on inspection, there is fullness and swelling in the left hypochondrium. The swelling extends towards the umbilicus and moves with respiration. There is no fullness of the flanks or fullness at renal angles, no abnormal pulsations or peristalsis. The umbilicus is pushed downwards and to the right. There are no engorged veins. Hernial orifices, scrotum and spine are normal. In which conditions do you see engorged veins over the abdomen? Portal hypertension, superior and inferior vena cava obstruction and local veins over abdominal wall sarcomas. On palpation, the abdomen is soft, there is no tenderness or guarding. A lump is palpable in the left hypochondrium, left lumbar and umbilical regions. The lower border is just above the umbilicus. It is non-tender, firm, smooth with rounded margin and a notch is felt in the anterior border. It moves with respiration and fingers cannot be insinuated between it and the costal margin. It is not bimanually palpable and not ballotable. Can you test ballotability in this type of swelling? No sir, because it is touching the anterior abdominal wall. How did you palpate the spleen? With the patient lying in supine position and legs semi-flexed, I palpated with a flat hand from the right iliac fossa towards the left costal margin till the sharp margin of the spleen was felt. Then I palpated the anterior border and could feel a notch. Then I noted the smooth surface and firm consistency of the spleen and then tried to insinuate fingers between the lump and the costal margin, which was not possible. What are the other methods of palpating for the spleen? If spleen is not palpable in supine position, then to look for minimal splenomegaly, I will turn the patient to his right side. I will place my left hand over the left lower chest and dip the right hand under the costal margin, asking the patient to take deep breaths. Another way is to stand on the left side of the patient and hook the fingers of your left hand under the costal margin, supporting the lower chest by the right hand. And the last method is dipping method, which is used when there is ascites. The flat hand is placed under the left costal margin and the fingers are suddenly dipped in at the end of inspiration. This displaces the fluid temporarily and the enlarged spleen is felt by the fingers. How do you measure the length of the spleen? From the costal margin in left midclavicular line, in the direction of the right iliac fossa in deep inspiration. If the spleen is just palpable, is it significant? Yes sir, because the spleen has to enlarge at least 2.5 times its normal size to become palpable. Why is it palpable so late? Because it enlarges posteriorly first and then anteriorly and downwards. Why this is not a renal lump? Because this lump is anterior, touching the anterior abdominal wall, and fingers cannot be insinuated between the lump and the costal margin. There is no fullness of the renal angle. It is not bimanually palpable or ballotable. and it has a notch on the anterior border which is characteristic of spleen. How did you do the bimanual palpation? I kept my left hand posteriorly over the lumbar area with the tips of the fingers in the renal angle, and I placed the right hand over the right lumbar area anteriorly and palpated simultaneously with both the hands. If a mass is felt by both the hands simultaneously, then I will call it bimanually palpable. And what is ballotability? If the lump is not touching the anterior abdominal wall, then I will keep the anterior hand gently pressed and give a sudden push with the fingertips in the renal angle. If the mass hits or touches the anterior hand when pushed and falls back, I will call it a ballotable mass, a characteristic feature of renal lumps. Proceed. On percussion, there is dullness over the lump continuous with the splenic dullness. Where is the normal splenic dullness situated? Along the 9th intercostal space from the posterior axillary line. If the spleen is enlarged, there is dullness over the 8th and 9th interspace in the anterior axillary line. There is no shifting dullness in the flanks. Liver span is 8 cm with the upper border in the 6th intercostal space in the mid-clavicular line. On auscultation, normal peristaltic sounds are heard. No splenic or hepatic rub, no venous hum or bruit. On specific systemic examination, the respiratory system is normal, cardiovascular system is normal, CNS is normal. There are palpable lymph nodes in the upper deep cervical chains on both sides, 2 on the right side, 3 on the left side. They are non-tender, mobile and separate. There is no matting. No significant palpable lymph nodes in the axilla or groin. There is no petechial hemorrhage or ecchymosis under the skin. The gums show no bleeding. What is petechiae and what is purpura? Both are hemorrhagic lesions of the skin. If it is less than 2 mm, it is termed as petechiae, and if it is 2 to 5 mm, it is termed as purpura. If it is more than 5 mm in size, it is termed as ecchymosis. In which conditions is splenomegaly associated with petechiae? In infective endocarditis, leukemia, thrombocytopenic purpura and systemic lupus erythematosus. Proceed. The gums show no bleeding. There is bony tenderness over the sternum. Where do you see sternal tenderness? Sternal tenderness is a feature of leukemia where infiltration of the bone marrow and periosteum makes it tender. My diagnosis is moderate splenomegaly, probably due to leukemia.